Hello YouTube. So last year I made a video about how the older I get, the less I like John Carpenter's original Halloween. Well, I didn't want to give the impression that I hated the movie because nothing could be further from the truth. My Halloween would not be complete each year without watching it. I still stand by the opinion that the film is overrated, but I think that's due mostly to the fact that it was so overwhelmingly successful that it's going to be subject of greater scrutiny as a result. In an attempt to present a more balanced list, I'm going to do a video about the top 10 things I love about John Carpenter's Halloween. Number 10. The dialogue amongst the teenagers is realistic. Not something typical of low-budget films. There's no shortage of flicks from that time where the writing is bad, really bad. That's why so many have been roasted on MST3K. It was a team effort of John Carpenter writing the Loomis and Sheriff Brackett roles, while girlfriend Deborah Hill wrote the teen characters. Back then, kids making movies was rare, and they definitely brought that sensibility to the screenplay. Number 9. Nick Castle's body movements as the Shape are fantastic. His father was a choreographer for Fred Astaire. He moved gracefully, and Carpenter, his pal from USC, noticed this on many an occasion. Castle was unaware at first as to how Carpenter wanted him to portray the Shape, but was reminded not to overthink it. Number 8. Dr. Loomis's speech about Michael is absolutely terrifying. Though brief, with no cutaways, it perfectly personifies someone that is plain batshit crazy. Inspired from an actual child John Carpenter saw in an institution, he observed this young anomaly sitting in front of a window, staring out of it with no expression on his face. Interesting to note, John Carpenter had to shoot additional scenes in 1981 for the television airing of Halloween because they edited the sex and violence, making the film too short for a 2-hour time slot. He filmed 3 additional scenes, one with young Michael doing the exact thing. Number 7. It breathed life into an unpopular genre. Horror was not as in vogue as it is now. Always seen as a notch above pornography, Carpenter made a point of improving what other B-slashers had all but destroyed. After a poor screening at his alma mater, Carpenter had all but given up on the film, only for it to make $50 million on its original theatrical release. In the years that followed, horror films became the trend of low-budget blockbusters, particularly in sequels. Number 6. The loose mental patients at Smith Grove is scary as hell. The shot is only 5 seconds long, but is extremely disturbing to see. Loomis has come to take Michael for a hearing. Instead, Michael steals the car and vanishes to Haddonfield. I guess that counted as their outdoor activity for the day. Number 5. They did so much with so little. With a budget of only $320,000, most of that went to renting top-of-the-line gear, including prime Panavision lenses. The film stock was processed at MGM, the best around, and the editing was done at the gold standard Goldwyn Sound. Number 4. The Steadicam shots were well done and innovative for its time. Films of that caliber didn't concentrate too much on the looks, due mostly to budgetary constraints. The crew observed it was much faster to film with the Panaglide, Panavision's version of the Steadicam, than to use traditional dollies. They're also noisy. One of the dolly shots required them to dub the dialogue as it was inaudible in dailies. Number 3. It did not succeed right away. The film was poorly received by critics and did not make money its first few weeks of release. Once they were selected into the Chicago Film Festival, as well as Roger Ebert, a Chicago native, who gave the film a favorable review, word quickly spread like wildfire. The film continues to make money to this day. Number 2. The music, though simple, is hauntingly effective. Since Carpenter had only 3 days to write and record the music, he couldn't do anything too complicated, so simplicity was key. The music is really easy to play on the piano even if you're just a beginner, and here's the proof. Number 1. The opening is amazing. Filmed on the last day of production, Carpenter deliberately shot the movie quickly so he could take his time to make the 1963 opening perfect. We see the Myers house in its decrepit state in present-day 1978. To make the house look 15 years younger, the crew whitewashed the house and wallpapered only the inside areas that would be photographed. In reality, the house was in disrepair. It was all set to be demolished until the film became a hit. The house was moved from 707 Meridian Avenue to 1000 Mission Street in South Pasadena, Los Angeles, right across the street from where this scene was filmed. Everything about this scene is spot on. The lighting, music, and cinematography. Well done, Dean Cundey, even though you can see a hot spot when Michael picks up the mask. Thank you, John Carpenter, for making a pretty good film riddled with imperfections. Happy Halloween, everyone.